Hi everyone, this is Dr. Jimenez, and I'm going to show you a brief little demo of how you can use the online databases that are found in the Guarini library. So first and foremost, when you're in Blackboard, you can always scroll down to the left part of the screen and go down to the section that's called NJCU Guarini Library. Click on the Guarini Library to access the main library homepage, or you can always go to njcu.edu/library. Once you're there on the home page, scroll down to the Resources section, and you'll see that you have access to our WorldCat Discovery tool, which kind of think of it as the Google of all of our databases. If you wanted to do one single mega search through all of our databases, the WorldCat Discovery link will help you to do that. Then you have our general online catalog, which is just telling you what books we have in our overall catalog. This is Oscar. This is especially helpful if you wanted to see what books are available, textbooks, fiction, a variety of different topics, etc. But you also get some resources in terms of databases by title as well as by subject, periodicals, online resources, as well as citation guides and websites. So there's a variety of different resources that I recommend that you explore. But for the purposes of today, what I'd like to do is show you a little bit about the WorldCat Discovery tool. So for example, in Project 2, let's say you're interested in learning a little bit more about self-efficacy in online environments. And let's say that's your topic. I can go to WorldCat Discovery to kind of get a sense of how much information is out there and how much information is available to me in the current library databases that I have available at this time. So a couple things to note here when it comes to searches. You can search by a variety of terms. I'm going to do searches by keyword. I'm going to do two search terms. The first one will be self-efficacy. But I know that there's all kinds of different research on self-efficacy. I also want to pull things that are online. So using this Boolean operator of AND, I can choose or not. But for our purposes, I'm going to choose AND. I'm going to choose another keyword. And I'm going to choose online learning. And I'm going to click on search. And again, this is searching all the different databases that we have access to. So we can expect to get quite a few entries. Now the first thing that I see here that is what's generated from this search is over 7,000 results have generated. And if you look on the left part of the screen, I can see a couple of different pieces of information about what's been pulled. First of all, it's pulling everything from the Guarini library. More importantly, I can see here that we're not filtering by content type. And we're getting all formats across all databases from all authors in all years, in all languages, across all kinds of topics. Now, there's an opportunity here to filter out content. And one of the things that we could do is say, well, what if we only wanted to see things for the last 5 years and I only want actual full text, meaning that I can access it directly, meaning it's available online. I don't have to go and search for it in other locations. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose full text. In other words, I should be able to find something and find a copy for it that I can download. And typically what will happen is you'll see a button that will emerge here that says like view ebook or view file, and that lets you know, hey, there's an actual digital edition of an article or book that I can download. In addition to that, I also wanted to go down and look at peer reviewed. Peer reviewed, again, just simply means that these are articles that have been reviewed by other peers in their respective industries, so that they're validating the work. It's not just something that somebody just put up there willy-nilly. It is peer-reviewed, and therefore it has been scrutinized. More importantly, I can scroll down further. I can decide, hey, do I want articles, downloadable articles? Do I want to search specific databases or authors? But for our purposes, I'm just going to choose to limit my search for the last 5 years. And as I click on these options, it will filter my list for me. In this case, bring it down to 3,000 plus results. As you can see here, these are my selected filters, and I can go through and see what's available. Now, I have here an article from Cheng-Yun Lee on changes in self-efficacy and task value in online learning. I have another one here from Bradley, Brown, and Kelly that might be of interest to me. So I can scroll down. Let's say I'm interested in this article. You just click on the View Full Text. You can click on the title as well, but for our purposes, I'm just going to click on View Full Text. Give it a moment for it to load. And once it's available, I have a couple of options here. First and foremost, I can store this and save it. I can also do some further searches inside, but for our purposes, I'm going to click on PDF full text because that means I can now open a digital copy of this article from Bradley et al. And there is my article that will slowly but surely appear on my screen momentarily. And once it's up, there you go, Bradley, Brown, and Kelly from Valdosta State University. I can go through and start reading this article. But a couple of other things that I should know, in addition to the 14 pages that I can review. On the right part of the screen, I have some different options that are available, including print, email, a link to myself. I also have the option here to create what's called a permalink. A permalink simply just creates this URL that I can now copy and save it to a personal library of my own or a form so I can go back and take a look at this article at a future date. But more importantly, especially for Project 2, I do have the option to cite. And if you click on the Cite button, what it will do is it will generate for you a couple of different citation formats. And again, just know that many of these citations, although they're created for you, they may not necessarily be fully correct. So it's your responsibility to go back and fix them. Like, for example, in this case, here's the APA version for this article. The first thing that I'm going to tell you that's obviously wrong is the fact that Bradley, Brown, and Kelly should not all be capitalized. They should be in sentence case, right? So Bradley, it should be capital B followed by everything else in lowercase, then a capital R, then a capital L, etc., etc. So little things like that are things that you want to take a look at. But the point is, I now have my reference here for this article that I can think of as it's been created for me at least most of the way. I'm still going to have to make some changes to it, but I can now copy it, paste it, and put it into my reference section and make my modifications. So this is a great way to create your reference list and build it out as you're doing your research. Now, let's say I decide, hey, you know what, this is a great article. Let me go search for another one. Okay, well, that's great. I can just go through my search list and I go, hey, look, here's another article that's of interest to me. There's a lot of them from similar authors. At least they appear to be of different variations. There we go. The effects of student interest, self-efficacy on online learning and motivation, which is another variation of this article. So I'm just going to click here from 2014, open it up. Sometimes you may get prompted to put in your Guarini Library online user ID, but I find that in this case I have an HTML version and a PDF version. That's okay. I can click on the PDF version, look at the article, read it, see if it makes sense, and then I can decide to maybe create a link, direct link to it, so I can review it later. In this case, Chang, Benmaru, and Ripple are going to be my authors, but I can go back to the citation tool, click on it, look for APA, and pull in my reference. And again, here I can see the authors, the year, the title of the article, the title of the journal, along with the volume and issue number, page number, and the URL in which this is being retrieved from so you can easily access it in the future. Again, this is a more complete reference, but the point is use these citation features to help you, again, build your reference sheet. Now, sometimes these searches can be very complex, and you decide, you know what, I don't want to search by all that. Let me just narrow things down by looking at a particular database or subject. Well, if you go to the databases by title section, I'm not going to go through every single database because this is meant to be a quick little informational video. But if you look at some of the different databases that are available, you do have Academic Search Premier, which usually has quite a bit of information available. Academic OneFile can be helpful. I just have found in my dealings with research, Academic Search Premier tends to be a little bit more comprehensive. You can also scroll through a variety of different topics, depending on what you're interested in, such as children's literature, communications, computing, ebooks, which can be, this is the ebook academic collections. You can see what ebooks we have available. I tend to find this to be very valuable as well as some journal services from EBSCOhost, the education database, education source, the ERIC database tends to be very helpful. I would also scroll down further, and of course you'll always have Google Scholar, which might be of interest for you. There might be some other interesting things for some of the science instructors that we have in the course in terms of Gale Science content. But even further down the list, you start getting into Science Online, curriculum resources, Bloom's Literature. There's a variety of different resources, including JSTOR. JSTOR is a publication of just similar academic articles. We don't have as many JSTOR articles as I would like, but it could be a potential resource for some of you as well. There's, of course, as you go through this, some other legal, library-related, and literary information. But the one that I do want to point you to is the ProQuest databases. ProQuest Central, the dissertation and thesis database. These could be very valuable resources for you as you are doing your research. I can tell you that in my work, in my line of research, I've used this database a lot because there's so much information available. More importantly, there's a plethora of great resources and research that's been done for you. It's very good academic scholarly work, so take a look at its database and see what's available out there. I would look at some of the psychology databases as well, and you do have some additional topic-specific databases that are available at the end of the day. But the key point, ladies and gentlemen, is that you have all these databases available. Use them. Go search for them. Play around. Take a moment to see what's available. And if you're not sure, you don't want to start with a particular database, go to subject. You can go by subject back on the home page and look for anything related to one of the following topics, including education. And you can go in and see all the different ways that you can search for things. So these are all education related. There might be some other interesting elements that could be of interest to you as well. So you have options. With that, I hope this has been helpful in terms of getting you familiar with some of the databases and resources that are available at your fingertips. Thanks again for attending this session.